as soon as my number was announced. The music started playing, the spotlights turned on, hundreds of eyes stared at me, and my former friends began to film me with malicious smiles. I felt so lost that I burst into tears from anger, jumped off the stage, and ran home in tears. Later, I found out that Lauren had posted the video of my shameful escape online, and the worst thing was that the video got more views and comments than all the cosplay videos I had put so much work and love into. I took all my wigs and costumes and threw them into the closet. Enough of being a loser. Something has to change. However, the same skinny and plain girl was still staring back at me from the mirror. I firmly decided that only plastic surgery could help me to become successful and feminine. I found the websites of various clinics and was disappointed. Such operations turned out to be awfully expensive. My parents only laughed at my request to give me such an amount. Why did they think I was joking? I had to look for a part-time job. Walking the neighborhood dogs was fun but didn't pay much. For some reason, old Mrs. Becker decided that a handful of cookies was the best way to pay me for my work. Good girl, here are your cookies. What was I supposed to do with them? Actually, I wouldn't mind getting a few dollars. I'm saving up for plastic surgery. Why did everyone think that I was joking about that? It didn't even cross my mind to give up. As a reward for my perseverance, I saw the news that the famous couturier in our city, the extravagant Mr. Muppa, was looking for a personal assistant. Of course, I rushed to the interview. Who would have thought that half the city would be here? The worst part was seeing smug-looking Lauren among the applicants. Well, now it was personal. Fewer and fewer applicants were left after each stage of the interview. Soon enough, the only ones left were Lauren and me. Mr. Muppa himself came to meet us and said that we were both very talented, but since we were minors, he would need a written work permit from our parents. It became obvious that the dream job would be given to the one of us who would return with a permit faster. We scowled at each other and rushed to get it. Lauren was faster than me, but I decided to stop playing fair. I had to win at any cost. I made sure that Lauren had left the building, sat down in the lobby, and began to compose a permit on behalf of my parents. Except the dumb pen had stopped working. I looked around and asked for a pen from the guy closest to me. His face seemed familiar to me. He immediately helped me out and asked why I was so nervous. I want to teach my former friend a lesson and become Mr. Muppa's assistant. That's why I have to forge the permission to work from my parents. I finished and returned the pen to the guy. After looking at him again, I finally realized why his face seemed familiar to me. It was Sam. He just wasn't wearing a cosplay. But lying is bad. He was one to talk. I turned around angrily and ran up the stairs. Of course, because of my little trick, I came ahead of Lauren and got the dream job. On my first day of work, I was very excited. Firstly, working with such a famous couturier was every girl's dream. And secondly, I felt that my dream of getting plastic surgery would come true very soon. You did a great job, and I would like to entrust you with an important task right away. This dress will be sold as a part of a new collection. Bring it to our workshop. It is unique, and there are no copies of it, so be very careful. The design was developed by my grandson. By the way, he'll keep you company. I felt faint from the beauty of the dress, as well as the responsibility. But when Mr. Muppa's grandson came into the office, I felt even dizzier. It was Sam, and he knew the dirty secret about how I had got that job. I took the dress and Sam and I went outside. Why did you need money so much that you were ready to get a job by cheating? I really want to save up money for plastic surgery. I'm tired of being so skinny. I want to be feminine and beautiful so that everyone would like me. Don't tell on me, please. Sam was surprised and said that he had liked me better when I hadn't been trying to please everyone, and that he was also often ridiculed because of his hobby and fragile appearance. Well, maybe I don't want to get laughed at like that. Anyway, I'll get to the workshop myself. I sped up and turned around the corner. Sam shouted something after me. The last thing I was interested in right then was listening to his lectures. I realized pretty quickly that I'd wandered into some bad area and got a little lost. At first, I was glad that I bumped into Lauren and her friends, but quickly came to regret it. Hey, Twiggy, are you glad you beat me to it? Guys, teach her a lesson. She should know her place. I clutched the dress and began to step away, but quickly realized my back was against a cold wall, and there was nowhere to run. Lauren's friends were all around me. I wanted to shout out that I had an expensive dress in my hands and ask them not to touch me, but I realized in time that would only make things worse. Although, how much worse could it get? One of the guys lightly shoved me in the shoulder, but I was just a fragile girl, so that was enough for me to stagger and fall on the roadway, straight into a puddle. The amazing exclusive dress turned into a dirty rag. My former friends ran away, laughing merrily, and I was left sitting in the puddle, crying. All of a sudden, I heard someone shouting my name. I saw Sam in the distance. He looked worried and was running towards me. Instead of explaining everything to him, I jumped up, picked up the dress, and ran away. What difference did it make now? He would definitely think I ruined it on purpose. I was glad that my parents hadn't returned from work yet, and I didn't have to explain my appearance. I quickly threw the dress into the washing machine to somehow fix my mistake. Suddenly, there was an insistent knock on the door. I was afraid that Sam had tracked me down and carefully peeked out from behind the curtain. But everything turned out to be much worse. A policeman was standing on the porch, and Sam himself was standing by the police car parked on the side of the road. That's when it dawned on me what I had done. Sam thought I had stolen an exclusive dress and called the police. That's what I had gotten into. I tried to think of a way out, and for the first time ever, was glad that I had such a small and thin body, because I realized I could get out of the house through the window. I opened it and started climbing out. Then the front door creaked open and I heard my mom scream. I realized that my brilliant plan had failed, and then a policeman and Sam ran into the house after hearing my mom scream. "Amy, what are you doing there?" "Don't worry, Mom, I just decided to go to the store." Judging by the nervous laughter, none of them believed me. I was standing in the middle of the room, wet, scared, and dirty, and wondering how my wish to not stand out had led me here. It turned out that Sam had seen Lauren's friends push me and called the police so that they would record my testimony. I didn't even suspect that such an outwardly fragile guy could act so bravely and nobly, but the dress was still ruined. Neither Sam nor I wanted to upset Mr. Muppa, so I made one last attempt to fix my mistake. "Sam, listen, you've already created patterns and I can sew. Let's make a new dress." We enthusiastically set to work. In a few hours, the dress was ready. We waited in the workshop for Mr. Muppa's visit. He immediately looked at our masterpiece with disbelief. Sam and I exchanged glances. Will the couturier notice the substitution? It's not my dress! What's the meaning of this? Sam and I lowered our heads and told Mr. Muppa everything. He looked between us and the dress for a long time, frowning, and then he suddenly laughed. What a funny story. It's a pity that you didn't tell me the truth right away, but look at what a beautiful outfit you created. Do you want to work on a mini collection of your own? For me, everything ended well. Inspired by our favorite cosplays, Sam and I created some unusual outfits and demonstrated them on the catwalk, next to Maestro Muppa. Still, things could have ended much worse, so I decided never to lie to anyone ever again, and most importantly, not to try to change to please anyone. Have you ever gotten into trouble because you wanted to blend in?